Welcome to the Family Dynasty podcast, where legacy meets leadership. I'm your host, Matt Dewing, family guide, business advisor, and believer in generational purpose. Our aim is to inspire and equip you to lead your family so that together you will experience compounding wealth in all 7 capitals through the generations. Each week we uncover timeless wisdom, cultural dynamics, and practical tools to help you lead with vision, live with intentionality, and build a flourishing family that multiplies in impact. Let's get to work. The Dynasty starts now.
All right, girls, welcome. Welcome to another Family Dynasty podcast.
Yay.
By now, you guys must be familiar. If anybody's been tuning in, these are 2 of my lovely daughters, 2 of my 6 daughters. Alaina, my oldest, Elli, my 3rd.
Yes.
Both of you in the throes of having little babies.
Yes.
Alaina's son is what, a year and 4 months old?
3 months.
Yeah, and one on the way in a few months.
Yep.
And Ellie's dealing with a 2-month-old.
Yes.
Beautiful pictures you sent recently. Clover at her 2 months.
Yes.
Thanks for joining me again for a conversation. Today, we're going to wrap up this series on the 7 capitals of wealth, talking about the culmination, which is societal impact wealth. So all of these 7 capitals compound to lead us here, the ultimate capital, societal impact. The ultimate purpose of a flourishing family dynasty is to enjoy God together and glorify Him in ways that are outsized compared to what we can do individually. In this culminating reality of what drives the desire to have a family dynasty, it just makes me think of the reality that this is more of a wisdom principle than it is a must-do. Right? There are the 10 commandments. There are moral laws in the universe that we should not break. There is grace and forgiveness. There is the gospel. Right? I think this idea of family dynasty is part of the gospel in the sense that it is part of the good news God has woven into the world. But pursuing a family dynasty is not the same as pursuing, the very basics of what it means to be a Christian, to walk with God. Right? Yeah. Understand that. So
what this makes me think of is in the catechism, they ask the question, one of the catechisms,
right.
The question is asked, what is the chief end of man? And the answer is the chief end of man is to glorify God and enjoy Him forever.
Yes.
And I feel like this is that on the scale of a family. Like what's the goal of a family? It's to glorify God and enjoy Him.
Yes.
And I feel that the societal impact is that glorifying God from the family.
You got it. Yeah. That's the Westminster Shorter Catechism. That's how it starts. And I think it is. It is what is the chief end of a person. It is the magnified chief end when you get the combined effect of a family.
Yeah.
The compounded effect of a family, what I'm trying to say. So let's frame this just a little more theologically. We think of the Abrahamic covenant. You will be blessed to bless the nations, is what God told Abraham. As God gave Abraham wealth and influence and children, He gave Abraham a dynasty. Right? And one of the other framings for me as I really wrestled with is this idea of family dynasty before we begin this project of really teaching as a biblical framework, as biblical worldview. I need to be absolutely convinced of it myself. And one of the things that popped out from Scripture is God defines Himself in Genesis. He says, I am the God. You will call me the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Right? He frames Himself as I am the God of a family dynasty. I am the God who passes down faithfulness through generations and gives the generations a purpose.
Yeah.
And so we see that in causing Abraham and his family to flourish, it was not an end in itself for that family. It was God blessing them, that they would be a conduit of his blessing to the nations.
Makes me think of in the Bible it describes a man with many children as having a quiver full of arrows.
Yeah.
Arrows aren't meant to be held, they're meant to be sent out. So
Yes.
that family is to be sent out broad
That's right.
to reach society.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a great way to think of it. A family that flourishes across generation accumulates spiritual, relational, financial, and social wealth. The natural outflow is impact beyond itself. And our argument is that there is no institution, whether it be government, business, or even church programs, that has as much potential for sustained holistic societal transformation as a flourishing family dynasty. This is kind of our argument we want people to wrestle with. What other historical, cultural, biblical examples do we see of family dynasty that is flowing outward for societal impact?
You mentioned Abraham and how that is essentially, that began as a family dynasty and continues to impact the world.
Sure. Yeah.
I really like the example of Susanna Wesley with her sons, John and Charles Wesley, and they really started revivals and reshaped the nation with their Christian preaching. And that still has its impact today. And she was a mom at home who raised, I don't know how many kids, a lot, I think. And what I think is so interesting about that is when I'm thinking of societal impact, I think of the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. And I feel like this is a good example of that, because individually, if everyone just branched out on their own, like you could have some impact, but I feel the example of Susanna Wesley is so good because when you think about, especially as a woman, wanting to make a difference, I feel culturally what people would normally think of is find a job that you feel fulfilled in and climb whatever ladder to make a name for yourself in some way. But ultimately, how much can you really do? I feel that that's fleeting, and like when your lifetime's over, some people are remembered and some people do make it to the place where their name is remembered, but that's just not as common when you do that individually. But for Susanna Wesley, when she made a difference, not by what culturally you would think of as wanting to go out and make a difference. Instead, she really focused on her family and raising up her kids, which is so countercultural, I feel. And ultimately, what were you going to say?
Through her kids, she was able to make a bigger impact than her herself by raising these strong, godly children.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Think of if she wouldn't have gone that way and instead would have made an impact in her lifetime, it just made such a bigger difference that she focused on her children and the long-lasting impact that they were able to have.
I don't know if you know this fact. I might have the stories mixed up, but I think I have it right. That's Susanna Wesley's parents are completely unknown, but at least to us. But do you know that she was the 25th child?
Oh my goodness.
That's a lot of kids.
That's
so
insane.
if her parents wouldn't have had 25 children, Susanna Wesley wouldn't have been there for John and Charles Wesley to come on the scene.
Crazy.
Isn't that crazy?
I wonder how many of them were multiples. That seems like a lot of.
Yeah,
I know
you think
it.
you would just have to have triplets. One
That
after
blew
the
your
other.
mind.
But yeah, I really like that example because it doesn't mean everyone has to do exactly what she did to make a difference. But I feel that her going against what people in the culture would think they should do to make a difference, focusing on the family, how that creates societal impact.
Yeah. Another example we have in history is one of my heroes, Jonathan Edwards. He's somewhere back in the family lineage for us. I don't know if you knew that, but Jonathan Edwards, he was a famous Puritan preacher, and he preached the sermon, Sinners in the Hands of an Angry God. He was really instrumental or part of that, the Great Awakening that happened in early America. Anyway, studies show that his descendants produced hundreds of ministers. There were educators, judges, and leaders. Many leaders who shaped American society were his descendants.
Yeah.
So it shows just the power that can come from a home.
Yeah.
So what about contemporary families today? Are there any examples that we can think of?
First one that comes to my mind is the Green family. Like they started Hobby Lobby, business that's very family oriented, and then also the Museum of the Bible.
That's right.
They have a societal impact.
Massive
with those.
societal impact.
Yeah.
I remember I was in business when they were challenging the Obama administration mandate on contraceptives. They took it all the way through the court system and won. Right? And I remember being a business owner thinking, thank God that there is this Christian family business of scale that has the courage and the wherewithal to take on the government. Right? Not every small family business had the capacity to do that. Beautiful example in how even today they're taking family governance seriously and having an outsized impact on the world through their family dynasty. Yeah. The DeVos family from Michigan is another example. They've been very active in investing in educational reform and many civic initiatives. We can also think just in terms of family dynasty, the Walton family is a common one. Walmart, right?
Yep.
They're involved in major philanthropic ventures, education, community development, whatnot. From what I understand, Arkansas is now the best place to mountain bike. They've invested, just for instance.
Oh,
Really?
really?
They have to spend, because of the way they're structured, they have to spend so much philanthropically on a routine basis. And they've invested millions in the bicycle trail system across Arkansas.
And that's where they live?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's where they're from.
Interesting.
Yeah. So they've just, and I think we want to maybe pause here and just say, we are making the point that even if a family is starting with a vision in one generation, to not discount that this is what's possible for any family with a vision and put the tools in place, that no matter where they start, this is where they can compound to. However, I think we want to not get lost and think, I need, in order for me to make societal impact, I need to become the next Ming dynasty.
Or I need to own Walmart and have tons of money.
Exactly.
Stuff like that.
You can make a societal impact in your small community.
That's right.
Start small. Don't be ashamed of small beginnings.
Exactly. We are not an uber wealthy family, but I know that what you said, the sum is greater than the parts. Yeah.
It's like horses. I think this is
Or the
true.
whole is greater than the sum of the parts.
Yeah.
It's that exponential compounding effect. We're having that now. And any family can. So go ahead with the horse.
I was going to say, I think horses have the same thing, where when it's one horse, it's one horse powered. But I think when there's more horses, the horsepower multiplies.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's true. I've heard that.
Yeah, for sure. No,
and
it's
I
great.
feel that it's the same with a family. So even if you don't have the great financial wealth, still what you would be able to do on your own is nowhere near what you as a family can do. Whether that be with your time, volunteering time as a family, you don't have to have financial wealth necessarily.
Right. Yeah.
You can do it in ways of service or knowledge or whatever.
Yeah.
Talk about the multiplying impact or the multiplying effect of a dynasty versus the individual. When you think of an individual impact compared to family, it can be shorter lived and it's limited to one's capacity in one's lifetime.
Yeah.
Whereas a dynastic family impact is compounded influence, it's compounded resources and credibility across multiple generations.
Yeah. Much broader.
Doesn't end
Longer
with our life.
range. Yeah. Because one person's lifespan, 90 years, it might take them who knows how long to perfect that one thing.
Right.
If it takes them 50 years and then whatever, they pass away, that time of perfection is very short. But if they pass it on to generation, it continues to grow, continues to perfect, continues to reach broader.
Yeah. Here's an illustration. One tree may provide shade, but a whole forest, it reshapes an ecosystem.
Mm-hmm.
Similar with the family.
Yeah.
I feel that is very countercultural. I just feel that that whole idea is not what the culture says is important.
Mm-hmm.
That we should just go make a name for ourselves versus focusing on our family.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that ultimately making a bigger impact.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think some organizations, I think of just say an organization that is drilling wells in Saharan Africa. Good work, right? They're bringing wellness and flourishing to communities that have, before that, not had access to clean or good drinking water. And a lot of times they'll use a slogan like, change the world, right? Come with us, invest in us, give to us, we're changing the world. And I think we all, at some level, have a drive. I want to be a world changer. How do I change the world? And I just think, to your point, I'm jumping on your point here, Ellie, to say we've been sold this marketing idea that is nonprofits primarily and businesses that are the way, if you get involved with a nonprofit that's changing the world or a business that's changing the world, that's how you change the world.
Yeah. Or like research and
Research.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or, you go chase your fortune so that you can have the next Bill Gates Foundation or whatever. But really, family. God, and again, this goes back to God's intent and design. He has given family the authority to rule in the earth and the responsibility to do that.
Hi, this is Matt with a breakout: family versus government. When we talk about societal impact wealth, the seventh and ultimate capital of wealth, it's important to realize something that may sound bold, but I believe is absolutely true. There is no more powerful vehicle for impacting the world than a flourishing dynastic family. Truly, it's families who rule the world more than governments. Why do I say that? Because families can outlast, outbuild, and out-impact civil governments. Let me give you a few examples. Take Abraham's family. God promised him that through his descendants, all nations of the earth would be blessed. A family blessing the nations. Kingdoms like Egypt, Babylon, and Assyria rose and fell, but Abraham's line still shapes history thousands of years later. Civil governments came and went. A family covenant remained. Or consider the Medici family of Florence. They weren't kings at first, they were bankers. But through their patronage of art and science, they launched the Renaissance. Michelangelo, Leonardo da Vinci, and Galileo, all of them were supported by Medici wealth. Their family influence outlasted the republics and regimes of their time. Then there's the Rothschilds of Europe. Governments needed them more than they needed governments. During the Napoleonic Wars, it was Rothschild banking. It was their banking networks that financed Britain's survival. Monarchs depended on family money. Even here in America, look at the Rockefeller family. Presidents come and go every 4 to 8 years. But for over a century, the Rockefeller Foundation has been advancing medicine, science, and education. They eradicated hookworm in the South. They funded DNA research that gave birth to modern genetics. Their impact has been steadier and longer lasting than any political administration. Or think about the DeVos family in Michigan. Governors come and go, but for decades, the DeVos family has shaped education policy, philanthropy, and community life in ways that no single politician ever has. And we could multiply the examples. The Kennedys in American politics, the Samsung and Hyundai families in South Korea, the Waltons with Walmart, or the Greens with Hobby Lobby. Over and over, dynastic families shape culture long after governments shift. Here's the bottom line. Governments make laws for a season. Dynasties build legacies for generations. Governments pass budgets that expire every year. Families build institutions, schools, hospitals, businesses that endure. Governments can enforce compliance. Families transmit vision, faith, and values. That's why if you want to change the world, don't start with Washington or Wall Street. You start at your own dinner table. You build a flourishing family dynasty because it's the family, not the state, that has the greatest power to bless nations. So, when we talk about the seventh capital of wealth, societal impact, we're talking about more than just philanthropy or civic service. We're talking about the unique God-given power of the family to glorify Him together and leave a mark on the world that no government can erase.
Do that. So I think just we want to recapture this idea that, investing in your household culture, raising your children well, not chasing the next thing that's outside of the home more than pursuing the health and flourishing inside the home.
Yeah. Yeah, because can you imagine if like a family, everyone was chasing their own thing? It'd be very scattered. It'd be some people might succeed, but a majority of people might not. And instead of bringing those resources and those the different mindsets and everything together, focusing everything towards one pathway, towards one goal, whatever.
Right. Yep, that's good.
Much more powerful.
Yeah. So we have here 7 practical pathways for families to think about when it comes to societal impact. This isn't exhaustive, but let's go through these. Why don't we each take one and we'll just keep going through these. You start us off, Elliot. Tell us a practical pathway for societal impact.
Helping cultivate a vision beyond yourself. So in your children, you can teach them from an early age that their gifts can be used for service. And I feel part of that is helping cultivate their gifts and their interests and helping them figure out what they have unique that they like to do. And from there, you can show them how that can be used for service and helping others and helping the community.
That's great. Yeah. And I think along with that, also help them get a strong sense of the family identity. Right? And of course, this is we talk about all the time. I don't think we can talk about it too much. Give them a sense of their own individual identity connected to the family identity and purpose, and then really highlight that character of service. That's good. Okay, Alaina, what about how about a second one?
I would say like institutions such as like schools, hospitals, businesses, etc. And a lot of those historically have been started by Christian families or Christian organizations.
That's right.
Because they see the need to reach outwardly, reach the community.
Right. Yeah. Building institutions, right? Whether it's coming in and volunteering at them or saying, we're going to
we see a need in our
put
community.
One up. We're going to start a school. We're going to start a hospital, a nonprofit. Absolutely. Yeah. A third one is active enterprise. This is something we at Family Dynasty pound the table about. Dynastic families sometimes shift away from active enterprise, especially after they've had a successful business and maybe have a business exit, to employing investment managers. The relative idleness of families managing investments compared to stewarding a growing enterprise often erodes a family's collective sense of mission together. And that weakens intergenerational connections and it weakens their effectiveness. Now, it doesn't have to, right? I'm not saying that you have to have an active family enterprise. You can have an impactful family dynasty that is entirely managing financial assets. But it takes more intentionality, I think. You have to be aware of some of the pitfalls that are going to be inherent when you're not rubbing shoulders with one another in an active business. And so we challenge families to consider really being, if you've already exited a business and you don't need a business, challenge yourself. Challenge yourself as a family. What else can we create together? How else can we get back in the game of active business? Because there is some of that, just that productivity in the way we work together as a family that is different than when we're just managing assets.
Yeah.
How about another, Ellie?
You touched on this a little bit, but guarding against mission drift.
Yes.
So in the next generation, really instilling the mission, the family mandate, and equipping the next generation to be leaders that embody that.
A lot of leadership development that can take place. And when you think about families that lose their wealth, this is one of the primary reasons. If they'll either lose their wealth or lose their impact. There are plenty of examples of Christian families who amassed wealth, they set up a family foundation, they put their family in governance of this, and they were going one direction, and then several generations later, because family members drifted to a completely, liberal mindset or whatnot, that they're now supporting things that the founder would be rolling over in their grave if they knew what the family funds were now supporting. So family needs to really guard against that. Mission drift is the way things go naturally. There needs to be a lot of work on succession planning. Is a huge part of guarding against mission drift.
Keep reminding yourself of why it is they started what they did and
That's right.
what the core values are.
Yes. Yeah. How about the next one, Alaina?
Philanthropy and civic engagement. Families can be really generous with what they've been given. Money, resources, time, service, whatever.
That's right. And I think sometimes it's easier for someone who is coming from a dynastic house to have the family backing to run for office.
Yeah.
Sixth of seventh, and then Elli, you can bring us home with the seventh one, mentorship and leadership development. I guess we've touched on this already, but family raising up leaders who impact every sphere of life, whether it's the arts, the sciences, politics, business, ministry. We want to think of our family going out and impacting all spheres of life.
Yeah.
That really leads into the last one, which is integration of faith and culture. So faith and our Christian beliefs really should be brought into the different aspects of culture as we create an impact.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, the mantra that we've said in our home since you guys were little, we are blessed to be a blessing.
Yeah.
I think that's an important concept for every family to realize, that we steward wealth. Not only, it does bring blessing to the family, but that is not the end. We are blessed to be a blessing to the nations.
Yes.
Yeah.
How have you viewed societal impact from personal family idea? And anything you want to share in regards to that?
I can share something. I have definitely had my mindset change in terms of how I view societal impact. I would definitely say when I was in school getting my master's degree, I was studying art therapy, which I really love. And I kind of had a vision for myself that I wanted to create a niche in art therapy, because it is a fairly small profession.
Right.
And I thought I could see myself creating a niche and have being the name in that niche of art therapy, because I had a professor and she was the go-to name for a certain niche in art therapy. I was like, oh, that's so doable. I could become this name in art therapy. I could be one of the founders of this niche. And I don't know, that idea I thought sounded really cool. And then when Trey and I met, there was kind of a moment where I was like, if I want to keep going on this path, I wouldn't be able to live here. I would have to move somewhere where there are different job opportunities, etc. And I kind of knew that's not where Trey was at. And it was kind of a moment of okay, so which road do I want to take right now?
Right.
And I obviously made my decision, and I don't regret that at all. But I think that the culture would say, don't give up your dreams for
sure.
a man, or don't give up your dreams for a family.
Yeah.
And they might view my story as a failure or sad in some way.
For sure.
But I think, and I talked to Trey, I'm I'm so thankful that you and I are living together and that we have a baby, and I'm not in some city or larger town by myself, wasting away doing research or work or writing. I just feel that having chosen this life and focusing on family, we have our daughter, building and growing the next generation. I just feel so much more fulfilled and joyful than I think I would have in this other situation that the culture would tell me is what I want to choose.
Wow.
Yeah.
And ultimately, like, what if I would have achieved my dream? Like, a small percentage of people who study art therapy would know my name, but I just, in comparison to growing a family, I just don't see that as important.
And you've only had Clover for 2 months, and it's already so rewarding, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, and I was going to say, if you already feel that way when you're in the hardest stage of it, right? Maybe you're not the hardest. What is the hardest? Toddler? When you have about 3 or 4 young ones, that's the hardest stage. But yeah, it gets more rewarding, right? It gets richer.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I would say, that's beautiful. Elli, oh my goodness, right? We should just mic drop. Finish it there. What a beautiful testimony. I think it's been wonderful. I'll just add a little bit of my testimony to it. I wish Mom was here to give her side of it. She never worked outside of the house. Now, early on, when money was tighter, she made wedding cakes and birthday cakes and sold those out of the house. There came a point, though, she just stopped doing that. And we were able to live on one income. I know these days it's harder and harder to live on one income. In our family system and some of the choices that you and Trey have made, you're doing that. You've made the decision at this point to live on one income. For us, it wasn't looking at our lifestyle and saying, how can we afford to live this way? I guess we have to have a second income. For us, it was, Janice was just, your mom was convinced she wanted to be home. And for us, it was, okay, we're going to throttle our lifestyle to the point that we have to in order to make that happen.
Yeah.
Lifestyle was a secondary issue to a primary choice, which was she was going to be here raising you. I also want to say that, God may fill your heart with another dream, or he may bring that dream back to you and make it possible for you. Right? And what I don't want women to hear us saying is that you have to give up on those dreams.
Right, absolutely.
Or that God didn't give you that dream.
Yeah.
But the way life works, I was telling Kate last night, we were having a conversation about how we lived in Virginia for 3 years and how you even, and the younger kids have no recollection or no, like when you guys think of our life, it's been entirely here in Pennsylvania. And the thought of us living for 3 years in Virginia is like, huh? And we think back about it, and sometimes I think, did that really happen? Or was that a dream? Right? Because our life has been so focused here in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, I make the mistake sometimes of saying, yep, I was born and raised in Pennsylvania. I was like, wait, nope, not born, but raised.
Yeah, you were born in Virginia. And this, as Kate's contemplating what is the future going to be like for her, I said, don't be afraid to move away, right?
Yeah.
And so I all that to frame and say, when you're in the midst of it and you give up a dream, you feel like you've given up on it forever. And it could be 3, 5, 10, it could be 20 years. And when that dream comes back and the capacity and the life circumstances are different where you can pursue that, it can almost feel like it wasn't that long ago. And I'm right back there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you still have that knowledge. You can use that even as a stay-at-home mom with your own kids, with people in the community. Like, the need may arise and you're like, I've got the ability to help someone there.
Yeah. And even in the jobs I've had locally, like, it wouldn't have been what I would have thought I would have done, but I've been able to use those gifts and skills that I love to help other people. So in no way do I think that I'm not encouraging give up on your dreams.
Right.
They just shape and they change differently. And I feel that I am able to prioritize my family while still having these gifts and skills. And I'm sure how I use them will change as our lives change.
Yeah. Well, and I think to summarize, I think what I'm hearing you saying is I chose family.
Yeah.
I chose family. And not only that, you chose to be part of a dynastic house too.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I feel that's a good way to put it. I really did choose something. I don't feel that I let something go.
Yeah.
I just chose something.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like this challenge here says, don't just build wealth, build a dynasty that blesses nations. So Don't just build wealth, or don't just build on your individual desires, but build that dynasty, build that family that will bless nations, bless generations. Changing the mindset from individual to multi-generational.
Awesome. Wow, girls, this has been a rich discussion. Thank you, as always, for joining me. And Ellie, would you close this with a prayer? Would you pray for families?
Sure.
Thanks.
Father, thank you for the time that we had to discuss societal impact and your plan for the family. I pray that you will give everyone listening wisdom as they decide how to shape their families and impact the world around them. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Till next time, God bless.
All right.
Thanks for joining us on the Family Dynasty podcast, where legacy is built, not just inherited. If today's episode helped you lead your family with greater vision or purpose, share it with someone else who's building a legacy that lasts. And remember, you shall remember the Lord your God, for it is He who gives you the power to get wealth, that He may establish His covenant. Deuteronomy 8:18. Keep building with faith, leading with love, and living for impact. Your family is your greatest calling.